Greetings, Valerie here. Hey there, it's Valerie Ling here. I am a clinical psychologist, one of many things. I'm also a mom and a regular human being going through what is in New South Wales, our 500th month of lockdown. It feels that way. It isn't quite 500 months, but it has been an awfully long time, since about July. And I had prepared a post that was meant to go live into my team's Facebook group, and then was told that it was an incredibly glitchy production. And so it actually really didn't get heard by anybody. And then one comment that I got, I thought, I think it's really important that I actually make sure that this stuff gets shared, not just to them, but to you as well. And so I've come back to my page, my little real estate in Facebook, to talk about something that I think is actually very, very important. So here we go. Adaptive versus predictive. I, amongst my many roles, just personal and professional, currently lead and manage a mental health facility or practice. We're a small team, but we're a growing team, and in the midst of everything that is going on in the world and in our part of the world, Australia, we are seeing, of course, just distress levels on the rise. One of my roles in the practice is I continue to clinically supervise the majority of the team, in fact all of the team. And so one of the things that we have in place is a series of checks and balances, and through the process of consent, meaning that our clients are very aware that this is my role in the practice. I review, I randomly audit notes, but I also review every treatment plan that goes through the practice while I am able. I rock up once a month, Tuesday and a Wednesday, and I just go through all of our clients' first appointments, and I look through the notes as a way for me to collaborate and align the what we're doing in our treatment across the practice. And as I was reading notes, I realized that there is a common trend at the moment of human beings just being really hard on themselves with what they're expecting themselves to be able to do with their mind and their lives. Whether you're a leader, whether you're in charge of a group, whether you're a parent, whether you're a student, I think people are being a little bit too hard on themselves in terms of trying to predict and make plans and manage others. And I think it comes from a sense of feeling quite responsible, that we need to be able to have these things figured out, because maybe in a previous time we were able to get a sense of what was stable, what was continuous, and then make plans. So I want to talk a little bit about how really the skill that we're needed and the mindset that we really require right now is one of adaptability. So picture if you were on an airplane all those years ago, when you could actually get on an airplane, and it was very, very turbulent, and there's lots of wind and lots of movements, and the plane is shaking. This is probably not a good analogy if you have flight phobia. I do apologize. And what do you think in that moment, if you're sitting as a passenger, what do you think the pilot is actually doing at that point in time? What do you expect the pilot to be doing at that point in time? And what sorts of guides and measures do you hope that they would be using to navigate that turbulence? And what is important for you to see when you're going through that turbulent space? Do you want to see the crew and the team being human, of course, and buckling themselves in and following certain safety protocols, but generally calm and taking their place in that structure? What do you want to see? Well, I suspect that even the best trained pilot and the most experienced pilot would still have to use a bunch of adaptive skills to figure out every different wind speed, every different I don't know, I'm not a pilot, so I have no clue what they look at, but I suspect that every turbulent episode comes with its own differences. And so if you're the pilot of that aircraft, you're probably needing to adapt and be agile in the moment to try to figure out using whatever skills and whatever knowledge references that you can. And that really is the type of position that we are likely to be in, whether we're trying to navigate our lives, our work, our study, or our kids' lives at the moment. And so what you're hoping, therefore, the passengers on the aircraft are experiencing is an acknowledgement that yes, this is scary. Yes, this is weird. Yes, this is uncomfortable. Do what we know we need to do. Put on your safety belt, stay seated, don't walk about, and remain calm until we get through this turbulent space. So similarly, if you have expectations of yourself as the pilot of your life, of your family, of your job, of your studies, to be able to predict everything during this, and I'm speaking specifically to my community who are living in Australia and we're still dealing with lockdowns, with certainty and strategic thinking and predictive ability, you will be quite hard on yourself because that is not what we can do and not what is going to help. At this point in time, we're trying to figure out how we're going to manage lockdown. Vaccinated versus unvaccinated debates are very, very strong, highly polarized at the moment. We don't quite understand what next week is going to look like. We could, whether freedoms are going to be released. And so therefore, in the midst of all of this uncertainty, there's very little data that we can use to make any kind of prediction. So if you're a leader, and that's really how this started, because I was on my team page and I wanted to just encourage our therapists to remind our clients that in actual fact, you're just being adaptable. You can't be very strategic at the moment, and you can't be very directive. And that doesn't mean that you're not doing a good job. It actually just means that you're doing what you can only do at the moment. And adaptability is a highly valued psychological skill and a highly valid and valuable way of being at the moment. So we can only really do short-range thinking, short-range decision-making. It does mean that the people on the plane are also helping us out, staying strapped in, buckling on your seatbelt, not getting up. Oh, I do have to tell you this story. Hello, Gordon. Oh, you're very welcome. I have to tell you this story. It just came to my mind. A long time ago when I was working, I used to travel quite a lot in one of my roles, and I was on a plane to somewhere in the US. It was like, I don't know, it was a US aircraft, and this was nothing like what I'd been through before, because most of the time, at this time I was working in Asia, I'd fly Singapore Airlines or Malaysia Airlines or Thai Airlines, and by and large the crew are very different from an American crew, I have to say. And we entered this patch of airspace and it was very, very turbulent. It was very, very turbulent. And the crew were these assertive, authoritative human beings who basically just said, "Sit down, buckle up. I said sit down, sir." And then, and it went on for a while. And, someone must have pressed the button for service. And basically one of the crew said, "You will not be able to get any service. All we can do for you." Anyway, what I'm saying is it was a very assertive, concerted message that said, in order for us all to get through this turbulence, we are all going to have to do what it takes. There is no time for conversation. And really, I will not be able to get you orange juice, tomato juice, coffee, or water. Pretty much it's just stay buckled until we get through this. And so, I think we've also got to remember that in a situation where whoever, whether people in our house or in a home, in our workplace or whatever, are also being anxious, that's part of your adapting, right? That's part of us actually needing to see what people need to help them to feel calm, to help them to manage their expectations. So in our practice right now, all I'm saying is I can't give you the 1 week picture. You're used to me giving you the 90-day or the quarterly picture. I don't even have the daily picture right now. And in fact, I was talking to one of our team members today because we had a coffee meeting, just a coffee chat over Zoom. And I noticed that I needed to share with them that I was apologetic. And I actually said that, I'm sorry that at this point in time, I can't actually give you that information that you're used to, seeing me give you a 90-day folding out so that you have that certainty. I'm only really able to give you the daily, or even sometimes if I can, the weekly. And I actually apologize that I also need you to know that I'm not keeping tab of the news all the time. So, sometimes people will say to me things like, oh, did you see on the news? Or did you, figure out this? Or did you hear that? And I actually said, no, I actually haven't. Because what I was saying is I don't mean to be rude or to come across as being callous or not caring, but there's not enough information right now to actually make the big decisions. This drip feeding of speculation and this drip feeding of information gives us the sense that we can make decisions, but actually we can't at the moment. And so I'm not actually tuning in to the daily news or the health updates anymore. I've just got enough information to live legally and safely within the confines of the lockdown and where I live, and to just continue as is until all the information gets batched up into a major decision that's going to come from the major authority, in our case, the Psychological Society and the Psychology Board. But other than that, I'm not going to be tuning in. So head for and that's why I think the message of self-care and rest and recharge and refresh is important, because when you're adapting, and it's not usual for us to be at this state of flux for so long, you are consuming a lot of your energy and your resources to try to calibrate, right? So if you try to be on a balancing act for hours on end, it's not normal, it's not natural for your body and for your system to have to do that. And so you're not being lazy or an ineffective leader by actually chunking things down, simplifying things down, heading for basics, and also just resting and recharging your brain, because you're going to need it when we can make more decisions when there's information for us. So I hope that that's an interesting, if not helpful, perspective to have. All right, take care.